Hello and welcome. Today we will be discussing the contents of the cranial cavity, and in front of you this is the skull of ox, and usually the part of the frontal bone has been removed in order to expose this cranial cavity. So this is the cranial cavity basically. All of this is a cranial cavity formed by so many bones. The top or the roof of this cranial cavity is usually formed by the frontal bone. Then there is the parietal and temporal on the sideways, then back side, that is the occipital bone. Now this cranial cavity, what you see here, this cranial cavity will harbor a very important organ of the body, that is the brain. And the difference between the brain, the orientation of the brain in case of animals and in case of human is that the animals are usually the quadrupeds, and the brain parts like cerebrum and the cerebellum will be in the single plane, while in case of the humans we are the bipedal. The cerebellum will be just underneath of the cerebellum. So this cavity usually have the brain, so like this. So this, and the brain, the presence of the brain will be like here. So we'll be discussing the contents, that is the brain today, that is present in this cavity, what we call as a cranial cavity. So in front of me you can see three brains are there with three orientations. One of the orientation is the dorsal, one is the ventral, and one is the lateral verts or the sideways. So this will be the dorsal surface, that means towards the upper side. This surface is like this. This is the ventral surface and this is the side surface. As you know that the parenchyma or the main content of the brain is the neurons, and neurons are having two parts. One is the soma, or what you call as the body, one are the this axon, or what you call as the fibers. And because of the soma and because of the axons, there will be the two colors in the brain. One will be called as the white matter, that is usually formed by the axons, and one will be the gray matter. So in the sideways, the cut surface we have shown you just here. So you can see there the parenchyma is basically made up of two things. So this grayish thing, what we call as the gray matter, is made up of the soma, or the body of the neuron, that is called as uh, here you can see here. So this is the gray matter formed by the soma, and this is the white matter formed by the fibers. So this is gray matter and the white matter that forms the parenchyma of the brain. And the surface are basically two surfaces. One of the surface will be upper surface, what we call as the dorsal surface. One will be the ventral surface. The upper surface, you can see that upper surface basically you can see one or two divisions of the brain. So one bigger, this division, this is called as cerebrum, and just back side to this is called as cerebellum. So what at the initial of the video I was telling you that this and this are in the same plane. So this is only in case of the animals, because they are the quadrupedal animals, while in case of the humans, this part what we call as the cerebellum lies here, almost at this place. So you cannot see the cerebellum separate in the single plane. It is just underneath of the cerebrum in case of the humans. By way you can differentiate between the brains of animals and in case of the human. So this bigger part usually has two parts, two lobes or hemispheres. So this is called one hemisphere is the right one, or one is the left one. And this part, the cerebellum, basically it is a single piece, not divided like that of the cerebrum. So cerebrum itself is divided by this longitudinal groove. You can see there is a longitudinal groove that is dividing the cerebellum into two hemispheres. One will be the right and one will be the left one. Then if you put this whole of the brain in the cavity, cranial cavity, you can name the lobes of the brain accordingly the bones that are covering here. Suppose a bone that is covering on this part is a frontal bone, you call this as a frontal lobe. Here it will be the occipital bone covering in this area, this will be the occipital lobe here. Here it will be the parietal, so it called as a parietal lobe. So accordingly there is no such clear cut lobulation in case of the brain, but you name the lobes according to the bone that is covering the part of the brain. And dorsally, what you see here, the elevations, small elevations and small depressions here on the brain, and these elevations and the depressions are known as the gyri and the sulci. So So the elevation is known as the gyri, and the depressions are known as the sulci. So these small depressions are called sulci. Besides, there will be some big depressions present on the brain, like the here one, here is two. These are called as the fissures. So the fissures and these sulci are usually the feature on the dorsal aspect. Usually you can see that. Plus you can see the gyre also on the dorsal aspect of the brain. This brain itself, besides the bones, this brain is covered by the other coverings, what you call as the meninges. There will be the three meninges. One of the meninge, outermost meninge, there is a part of one of the meninge here attached to this brain, this one. So this is the meninge, what you call as the dura mater. The other name of the dura mater is called as a hard matter because it is very hard substance made up of the collagen fibers. The second layer underneath of this dura mater will be the arachnoid, arachna, meaning the spider-like, spider web-like. Then innermost layer that is in close intimate contact with that of the parenchyma of the brain is this one that is called as a pia mater. So the three from outer to inner, the this is called as dura mater. The second one is called as the arachnoid, and the innermost is called as the pia mater. And pia mater basically has a close contact with that of parenchyma. So if you want to remove the parenchyma, basically the part of if you want to remove the pia mater, the part of parenchyma will also come out along with that of the this pia mater. And pia mater is also known as the vascular meninge. If you see the surface of this brain, you can see some bloody spots like things, blood spots like things, and this is because of the vascular meninge that pia mater is covering on the whole of the brain. So this is about the dorsal. Dorsal, you can see these features, the gyri fissures, and you can see the coverings that is covering all those structures of the brain. If you see the ventral aspect, most of the features of the brain are on the ventral aspect. If you see the ventral aspect of the brain, so ventral aspect of the brain present so many features. So ventrally you can see here a transverse band of substance of fibers. This is called as a pons. So this is the pons on the ventral aspect. Then just underneath of the pons you can see something is coming out, and they are just diverging. One is coming like this and one is coming like this. So two diverging bands, one this are coming just underneath of the pons here, and one is this one, and they are called as cerebral peduncles. So this is the peduncle, cerebral, and this is one more cerebral peduncles, and they are just diverging, creating a space here. So this whole of the space is creating by the divergence of these peduncles. This is called as interpeduncular fossa. So interpeduncular fossa, and one side of the interpeduncular fossa on this aspect is again bounded by one of the structure what you call as optic chiasma. So one of the optic nerve is going this way, one of the optic nerve is coming this way, and they are crossing here, forming an structure what you call as optic chiasma. So this peduncle basic interpeduncular fossa is one side bounded by the optic chiasma, and the contents of this interpeduncular fossa you can see here this. So this is basically the area where here, this is the mammillary body, and this is the area where you can see the small opening. This is basically the attachment of the infundibulum, and infundibulum is basically the part of the pituitary gland. So here ventrally the pituitary gland will be here, connected here. So this content of this interpendicular fossa, you can see the mammillary body and small body will be there, what you call as tuber cinereum, then infundibulum and pituitary gland. So this is the content, these are the contents of the interpeduncular fossa. Then after this optic chiasma, if you go this way, so here you can see some white structure here. One more is here, it has just come off from this. So basically these are olfactory bulbs. So this is olfactory bulb here also, and this is the olfactory bulb here also. And olfactory bulbs are usually present in the olfactory fossa that is present in the skull. And from the olfactory bulbs you can see that something is just going, one strand like thing is going like this way, and one of the strand will be going into this depression. So they will be creating here one triangular area. So these are called olfactory strata. This is lateral strata, and this is the medial strata. And between these two stratas, some triangular area is here, and this triangular is called as olfactory trigonium. And one side of the olfactory trigonium is basically bounded by this part of the brain. You can see here, and this one, and this is called as piriform lobe of the brain. So this is piriform lobe of the brain. This is olfactory trigonium. So olfactory bulb, olfactory lateral, then it is medial. This olfactory trigonium. So this side also it will be like this, but it has come off. Then this is optic chiasma. Then this is interpeduncular fossa having the tuber cinerum, mammillary body, pituitary gland, infundibulum. Then these are here you can see these cerebral pedunculus. Then this is pons. You can see this is the pons, and plus just behind the pons, if you see clearly here, one band is going this way. Just I will take the hand. So here one more transverse mass this way and this way is present. These are called as a trapezoid body. So this trapezoid body, this trapezoid body, and some longitudinal things are going like this. These are the pyramids of, because from here pons up to the here, this will be the medulla oblongata. So medulla oblongata will be from here to here, and the main feature of the medulla oblongata is the pyramid, and you can see this is one pyramid and this is the other pyramid. From here, so this is the end of the medulla oblongata, and from here the spinal cord will start. So this is the beginning of the spinal cord. These are pyramids, this is trapezoid bodies, this is pons, and these are the other things that we have already discussed. So this is about some at the some parts we have discussed about the ventral surface. There will be more to come, because this is the area, this ventral area is the area, and the pons, medulla oblongata, and this trapezoid bodies will be the area where the maximum of the cranial nerves will be emerging, and the other things we'll be discussing in the next class. Thank you.